We did a story last week about the Old Dairy Brewery, a a brewing company in Kent who, well, used to do a lot of exporting with Europe, but found out that, well, it was losing its business. It lost over 95%. 95% of its exports. And we're going to find out what that number in pounds actually means just in a moment. And trust me, it is going to shock you. But quite frankly, as I think you will agree, any company losing that amount of money, I think would be quite worried and should be probably quite worried. But I this is the story that we have always covered, just like this company. How many times have we covered this from national newspapers like in the Guardian to like different local newspapers up and down the country of this company is closing because it's having export problems. Why? Because of paperwork it's all got to do. Or we've lost 30% of our business because of Brexit, because no one wants to buy our bird feed from the company in Doncaster we covered almost a year ago now, because it just costs so much, and it's just because of the new export costs. Well, the paperwork costs means that we can't sell it at the same price we used to, meaning that people are just looking for alternatives now. How much longer do we have to continue this before it finally sinks in? And this gets even funnier because we have already technically covered this story just last week, but it turns out this story went even deeper. And this is a classic case of Brexiteers counting their chickens before they hatched, because this business was hailed as a Brexit exporter, taking advantage of all the new wonderful Brexit export opportunities. Turns out now they've only got one European customer left. And to be honest, I don't think they'll have him for too much longer, as we'll also find out as well. So let's go diving into this article then, shall we? So as always, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link where you can buy me coffee. And thank you very so much to all the people where you can buy me coffee. And of course, there's the YouTube thank you button down below where you can also do something similar with that as well. And of course, there is the YouTube Pony Club where you get badges, emojis, and you get one free super chat a month as well. So, as always, let's go on into the Guardian today where they're covering this story. So, this comes from the Guardian with the title of Kent Brewery, hailed as export champion, has one EU customer left. Not very much an export champion, is it? It's got one EU customer left. So, a Kent brewery chosen to help champion export opportunities for the government after Brexit has revealed that the burdensome customs checks and the paperwork have left it with just one remaining EU customer. The Old Dairy Brewery in Kent, the Department for International Trade and Export champion for the South East, appeared in a government video just last year promoting the potential boost to export sales. The boost to Brexit export sales. However, its exports of bottled and keg ale to countries that include Italy, Germany, and Sweden have slumped since the UK left the EU because of the onerous paperwork. The brewery now has one European customer, a Berlin pub owner who travels to England by van to pick up the beer. And this is where the numbers come in, because we've said they lost 95% of their exporters. You'll now get to see what that is in terms of pound cost. So the value of the Kent Brewery's annual beer exports have fallen from £600,000 to £2,000. £600,000 to 2,000. That is a lot of money to lose as a business. You know, that is a lot of money. And you can see why these types of stories always make headlines because that's a lot of money to lose. £600,000 to two. It's a good job they're not just relying on that because they'd be out of I think they'd be well out of business now if they were just relying on exports. Virginia Hodge, the export manager at the brewery based in Tattenham, said some transport companies just won't take alcohol now because of all the transit documents you need. I used to be able to make up a case of beer and then just send it by courier to Europe. And now I have to send it through the full customs declaration. Our customers in Europe say they want to take British beer, but it's just not cost effective. They've got a lot more paperwork to do. And of course, that was always going to be the case. Any European customer that was buying stuff from the UK has had to answer that same question, regardless of what product or service they were buying. Is it now worth it? And a lot of them have just gone, it's not worth it. And you may remember in the last article, it was costing like £400 to send 12 bottles of beers to someone into a obviously an importer to sort of test the beer and see if they wanted to buy that product. That's a lot of money for to spend out on just sending samples. So, and this is where we get into that one remaining customer now. So she said the brewery's one remaining European customer has faced multiple challenges. She said the first time he came over, we were up all night trying to get him through customs at Dover and out of the country. But he was stuck because of the paperwork. He used to come over for just one night, but now it takes him 4 days because of all the problems. How much longer do you think he's going to continue doing that? Is it worth it spending now those 4 days away he's got to be away from his business? I don't think he'll be sticking around too much longer. Hodge said that businesses were still not given sufficient support. She said, there is nobody to ask and there is no system. She said the advisors in the government helplines referred questions about export problems to the government website. The goods from the UK to the EU reached at least £16.9 billion in May, the highest level since figures started in 1997. It is, however, the smaller traders who have particularly struggled with the additional paperwork and requirements for exports after Brexit. The Old Dairy Brewery now hopes to try and boost its EU businesses once again by consolidating orders with other smaller breweries. It is now trying to oversee an export collective that hopes it will help increase the trade in British beers. Hodge said, we hope this export collective will make us more attractive to overseas importers. We're trying to get some beer at the moment out for a trade show in Munich, but the paperwork is massive. And it's not just the paperwork, it's the cost of that paperwork. And as we've said, just how, you have to get this paperwork. You have to, dot every I and cross every T. And if you don't, well, your order ain't getting through. She also added that it was, quote, ironic that the brewery had been selected to promote the potential opportunities after Brexit, but said she'd hoped the collective would help overcome this bureaucratic challenges now involved in selling to European customers. And of course, we're not going to bother with Andy Griffith's comment because we read that last time, but it's exactly the same. Yeah, and the fact that you're having to create this collective just goes to show you just how insane this is. The fact that they have to do this because of Brexit. But I think showing you that number example, this is why I covered the story again, because like I say, it puts that 95% number into context. £600,000 to just 2,000. If they were just relying on exports, they wouldn't be able to continue as a business. It would be that simple. I mean, they do have, of course, a domestic home market, but even then, you can't just start, flooding your home market full of beer. It's not how that works. But this all goes back to typical, Brexiteers not understanding how exports work, not understanding how international trade works. And here we are again. And I would have loved to see how she would have responded or asked whether A, Britain should have remained in the single market and customs union. That's certainly a question I think I would have loved to ask her. But also, does she think that the UK should rejoin said single market and customs union? Because I can't see her saying no to that. I can't see her saying no to that. And it's only a matter of time before businesses really start to say, hey, can we just rejoin the single market customs union? Because to be honest, this is a nightmare. And you've only got to see, you may remember the wine exporter we had, or the wine importer we had, who moved his business to France. He's loving it. He's loving it once again being there. And he gets his pension paid to him by the government. So, he's loving it. But as always, thank you very much for watching. And as always, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button on your way out. And of course, we'll see you all next time.